Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Angry Cast and The Witness. Some final thoughts. By now, if you haven't already seen the last episode, the culmination of everything went to this secret area that spawns right inside of this window here that takes you into what is like the back offices of whatever company or entity that has created this island and all its wonderful toys and whatnot. In which there's actually even further amount of inception or a layer of metaphysics to it, where you actually wake up as the developer or the programmer. What's his name? Jonathan. I forget the last name. I'm tanking on it right now. But you wake up and it's like a full motion. It's actually video of him waking up and trying to interact with his environment, like they're puzzles in the game, and just the nature of how we feel about things. And it makes you think about the way the game played and way you look at your world. I mean, it's interesting because I'm sitting there going, wait a second. I need to go back into the game. I need to look around. I need to see if I can finally I can see that moment where things aren't right, and you can see the offices up in the distance, because you can apparently stare down onto the island from those offices. And where does that happen? Where, because I see these different locations, but I don't see where the Truman Show, the door at the end of the water. And you're not going to. That's not the point. If the game doesn't allow you to see that. But there are a lot of things I'd like to talk about with this game, and I'm just going to wander through it and look at all the locations we went to, because, I mean, my goodness, in terms of actual art, this game really is phenomenally painted. I mean, those of us who Jonathan Blow's his name. Sorry, that just came to me. I apologize for everything up until now. No. This is just how I walk and talk through the games after we played them, and we sort of talk about the nature of games and everything. But Jonathan Blow really delivered a wonderful game here that made you really think. And a lot of it might be too cerebral to figure out a lot of the puzzles, and you will eventually break down and look up some stuff if you're not following along in the videos. And I highly suggest. And there was an original video that I had the footage for, and I never posted it, of me commentating as I was playing the game, and I decided against it because of what I was going to attempt to do, and quite frankly because I got lazy and I did not have the time to spend coming up with things to say as I was playing, talking to you, and then having to go back and edit those videos, taking very great care as to not losing my thoughts that were being conveyed, as well as edit all the other elements into it. And you can see we have all these pieces here. We can go down. We can do all that. We can well, you can't do it from here, but this is where the the laser happened. But you can see we have all these just beautiful pieces of landscape and architecture to look at, and that become puzzles, and how we look at the world becomes a puzzle in and of itself. And it's just, once I got a new computer and started playing this without it lagging and having to tone down all of the graphics. So let's just take a quick experiment. Here's what this looks like right now in the best possible graphics I could put on. Let's tone it down and then see what that looks like for just a second. It actually doesn't take a lot away from it. I mean, I'm trying to do side-by-side comparison. I'll do that in the editing and really take a look, but I didn't. I know the size of the files changed tremendously when I was editing, because it ended up being over 1 terabyte worth of data from start to finish, and there's like 30 episodes, and this is a pretty beefy game. So yeah, that's what it looks like in the lowest settings that I had. Okay, we put it back. Yeah, the main differences are that the lines on the lasers are a little bit more anti-aliased. They aren't as cubed or pixelated. The water has a little bit more detail to it. I'm sure there's much more richness in the detail of them. things I haven't really looked at. But there you go. And I'll put an image before and after comparison into the video as well, just so you can sort of see what I'm talking about. There's not a lot I can say in terms of, let's go through our checklist of things we talk about. We talk about the game itself. So the game itself, what was this game about? So it's kind of like a misdirect. There's a red herring slapped across your face in the entire thing, where it's a game about you on an island solving these puzzles, trying to figure out what happened. There's a family at some point. There's a mom, and I can't really see where the mom figured into it, but there's a father and some kids, and you see statues all over the place of people. There's a sort of a hidden scoreboard, as it were. All these lanterns and all of the lilies and all the flowers and all that is something that you see as you progress into the game, and you unlock more, get more of the lasers, get more of the puzzles, get more of the audio logs and all those things. More elements get added to the pond here, and it's sort of like, and if you don't know these things until either you notice them or you Google them, that's the main point. I'm sure that it has to do with some sort of if I could hover, I wish I could. I was trying to find console commands to this so I could like hover and get out of this and go behind the scenes and clip through some stuff, but I can't. But I'm sure that if you were to be hovering, looking down over top of this water, this pond, you would see sort of a representation of where these things exist on the map itself. I could be wrong. I'm only guessing. But there are, plenty of different types of puzzles that we, as children, grew up in my generation learning about. We had what was called impact or gifted class, where you would do goofy things like, a man's lying dead among 52 bicycles. How did he die? Well, he was cheating at 54 bicycles. See, I screwed it up already. But a man's lying dead among 54 bicycles. How did he die? Well, you're supposed to ask yes or no questions, and then eventually you come back to the point where your brain starts to figure out that the man was cheating at cards. There's only 52 cards in a deck. Bicycle is a popular brand of playing cards, and if there's 54 cards, that means the guy was cheating and he had 2 extra cards and he got shot. You sort of feel out that, you ask questions like, how many people, you can't say how many people were playing. That's not a yes or no question. It has to be a yes or no question based. So we would do these exercises, and it was more of independent thinking and critical analysis and that type of stuff. And that was sort of like my upbringing. I was a puzzle-driven, person. I was big on seek and finds. I was big on mazes growing up. So this game really spoke to my childhood of a love of puzzles. And a lot of games spent like that. A lot of the old games like Zork and Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy were so puzzle-driven that I loved them dearly. And sometimes the puzzles were maybe too complicated to allow us in our, non-biased or person, part of the development team and the creator, to personally grasp, because we don't have the knowledge that they have in their brain, and it's sometimes that comes off as a poor story writing or poor coding issue, or sometimes it just comes off as the user's just not imaginative. These are things I never even know. Look at this. I never even noticed, as I played through this game the entire way, I never even noticed that there was this entire thing here. Now, if you go back at the beginning of the game and find, I wonder if this was here, or if this got added later. I'd have to go back and find an old save. So give me 1 second. So this is a save I had, and you can tell because of the amount of lasers that have not been fixed yet. In fact, this one is way going in the wrong direction because I think on top of the building. I haven't got there yet. But yeah, it is here. Never noticed this. So this is pretty interesting that there are clues all over the game that give you a little bit more of the story of what's happening that I didn't pick up until now. Now that I've finished the game, I know exactly what that's half sun rising or whatever symbol means. So yeah, that's pretty neat. Okay, I just reloaded that. My other game. So here's the other thing. All the videos I did. I know that there's one that I did not finish. I did not complete. And I'm going to go check it out, and I'm going to show you. We're going to head down there next. I never did open up the one music related. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. My brain just could not handle it. I did complete the puzzle for it. with the knowledge that I Googled to get the answer on how to do for the theater back there. But the puzzle itself, yeah, I couldn't open it. I really couldn't. I tried. It just wasn't happening. This goes all the way. Where does this go? This goes all the way back down. I don't want to go that way. I want to go this way. Yeah, this one here. Look at it. There you get that. All the puzzles we had there. I'm just not. There's certain puzzles my brain couldn't handle, and especially with a time limit. And I couldn't come to the end of doing the one puzzle. I kept getting stuck, and I have the footage of it. It's gonna look kind of dumb, but the one puzzle of me doing this entire music challenge here, this whole thing, and going through to do these puzzles and then do that puzzle and then have to take a screenshot of this one so I know what exactly the pathway through the other puzzle is, and then to get all these ones. When it would get to the ones with the having to capture the pattern in the puzzle, like outline the pattern, I would get stumped on, and I couldn't figure it out, and I would waste so much time, and then I would go through here, get this okay, and then I would get up to this point here, and I would get blocked. I would get flustered and blocked, and I could never find the puzzle to do. And then I eventually did make it through, so I had to do these two puzzles, which you can't really see right now, but they kind of disappear. But there are two pillar puzzles to do, and once you do that, this is a clock. This is a time thing. That's just there to throw you off. But I couldn't do this puzzle. So you can see that I never got in there, but I did show a picture of what it looks like open that I got from the internet, and added it in for you. And like one of these, I couldn't do it. It was taking too long. And I know there was a couple of cheats on how to do it, where you get to a certain point and let time run out, and then you are free to do it however long you want to, and it won't go away. It just wasn't happening. So it just never got done. Yeah, I mean all this underground stuff was cool too. I loved that. I'm kind of like meandering around a little bit, not really giving you a lot of information other than, hey, this puzzle was cool, and I like that puzzle, and here's a cool puzzle, and here you go, and oh. But this is cool stuff. And the thing is I didn't finish that one puzzle. I didn't finish, and yet out of all of them, I only solved about 507 total puzzles, maybe 508. I think was my total. And there were 650 puzzles in the game. So apparently I missed 100 and some puzzles that I don't know about. Let's check out the other save file I have here. Hold on a second. Oh, I forget how to do it. Oh yeah, I gotta do this. Okay. Let's get that. So there you go. That's how you do the last puzzle. You have to get that lined up and do that, right? And it takes you into the thing, which, you've already seen this one, and there were more audio logs I had to go back and sort of piece together. And here we are in the offices, that sun I tell you about, and look at this. It's like it's taunting you with more puzzles, and here's all of the shots of around the island. Like here I said, I tried to see where I could, where is this at? Where, like I stood down there and looked up, I didn't see anything. So of course you're not going to. It's not going to actually physically be in the game like that. The logic portion of me, the brain that I have, will say I should be able to see that from the ground, but I know that that's not programmed into the game that way. So let's sit here for a little bit and talk. So like I said, there's about 650 puzzles in the game. Please, if you watch the entire series, and there were ones I missed, please let me know in the comments section. I really hope you could do that, because I would like to know. I would love to go back and get them. Truth be told, I'm probably going to remove this from the computer. Just because I need the space for other stuff. There's a couple other games I want to play. I think I'm going to move on. Now that I get this puzzle bug in me, I think I might want to go back and play a few of the older games to show you. Like this is basically taking the mantle from games like Myst. If you've never played Myst, that's an old 90s game that was put out by a company called Cyan, and it is, at the time, was phenomenal. It also had a lot of flaws to it that people figured out early on. We didn't have the internet like we have now to have those types of conversations and videos. We didn't have YouTube back then, so we couldn't show you those things. You had to sort of like read it in message threads. But it was, I'm. Did I get that? I got that. I'm sure I got that one. I had to have gotten that one. I don't remember. I have to go back and watch the video. But this just alone. I mean, all these little things, these little nods. Like I started to peek around corners and try to see, hey, there's something there. I know there's something up there. What is up there? I want to see, but you couldn't tell what it was. But I knew, standing down there and looking up in this area, I knew that there was something that could be seen. You just couldn't get to it. And there again as well. And we're gonna go up into the other outside. Oh, this is such a beautiful game, and none of it makes sense. None of it makes sense because, okay, here's the thing: we're over here. This is why I'm saying that you will never find this in the game. To be able to look at, be standing down there by the temple and looking up and trying to see this balcony, this railing, and all the other stuff, you won't see it because we are here now. We came through the tunnel underneath the mountain, which is all the way over there, but yet this ends up over here. And earlier before, we were standing on a balcony overlooking the entryway, all the way down over there. Like that's actually further back in there. You can't even see it right now. But the entryway had a walkway where there was that secret puzzle early on that you like all games where you walk out the first 5 seconds of playing a puzzle game, you turn and look and there's a puzzle you don't know how to figure out yet. And it's something having to do with the end of the game. Myst does it too. I'm going to let you know that now. But that was all the way on the other side of the map. So there's no possible way that this logically connects to each other. So I wish there were some puzzles here to have done, like environmental puzzles that I didn't see. Maybe there is. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I missed them. So it's just, these are, I love this. I did like this game. It became kind of frustrating to me because there was so many things I was missing because I don't have the time of, like, when I was in college to sit in a computer lab and stare at a screen and make notes and make maps and all that and look at these types of things. But it was enjoyable. It really was. Again, now we're even further. We only went maybe left. And all of a sudden now we're over here where we were over there on the other side of the temple. So again, none of this makes any sense. It makes no logical sense. Maybe it's not supposed to. Maybe that's part of the thing. But again, the storyline was that you were on this island and there was something happening and you had to... Look at that little hole in the cloud. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little distracted. Blip, 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 blip. But you are on this island trying to figure out the story, and when you actually do find out about the audio logs and you start to listen to the audio logs, the longer you go into the game, the more you find out that it's all a ruse. It's like Lost. It's like the TV show Lost, where it's all a lie. It's all smoke and mirrors, and black smoke and mirrors for that, and people in costumes pretending to be savages and whispers and all that other stuff. But there's actually, there's a lot of supernatural element to it, but it's a lot of just people, Scooby-Doo masks kind of thing, where you find out that these people are hired to sort of do some sort of an experiment on people, and they're recording these audio logs to sound like they're enticing you to think abstractly outside the box, and yet it's only just they're playing a role. They're playing a role. They are they're not a father and a daughter and a son and a family. They're scientists, and this whole entire thing is some big, huge, weird mind screw. So, yeah, there you go. So I think we're going to wrap it up here soon. We've kind of gone through most of it. There was a couple other puzzles that you may not have seen. I actually went back and I think I included them in this ending, where you actually see what's happening to Mr. Jonathan Blow. There's, he's sleeping on the couch there and you can't really tell. But then you come up here and you do this puzzle and it lights these things up, and then you see him over here sleeping, and then whoo, whoop, whoo, hey, hi. And then once you get to the end of this entire thing, then you wake up in that video and you watch him interact with the real world, and then eventually sit down and lay back down or whatever at the end. It's it's trippy. It really is trippy. It's kind of neat. All the world's falling apart, the abyss. So there you go. As far as the The one thing I will say that it's a detraction from this game, and maybe it's not supposed to be like this. I'm used to something a little bit more atmospheric. I'm used to a little bit more an ambiance to it. I added that in, so if you're noticing now that while I'm playing this, you're like, wait a second, I remember when you were playing through this and recording, there was like this soundtrack playing, there's music and stuff playing. Yeah, it's I added that in. There's a website called tabletopaudio.com. I've used them before. I've talked about them before. They are it's a guy who primarily does soundboards for gaming groups. Like you can have soundboards that are for your tabletop gaming teams, like your campaigns for like Dungeons and Dragons or other RPGs, where you can add in that atmospheric. Oh, there's a town. Oh, there's a cove. Oh, there's a dungeon. There's a bar. You know, there's a tavern somewhere. Just like you have people milling in the background, and that sound of clinking glasses and fireplaces and coins being dropped down. So I added to the game, I added their soundboards as sort of a way to enhance the atmosphere of the game, to where there was birds chirping and there was a sort of a breeze going through. There was a forest one, and when I was underground there was water dripping, that kind of stuff. And I really wanted to do that. That was the main point of playing this game and recording it the way I did. Like I said, I had an entire video where I had talked through the first part and I didn't like it, and I don't like it now. I don't like me playing this game and trying to talk about it now because it's so hard for me to do. And therefore I decided to just say, you know what, we're going to just do it uninterrupted style. I'm just going to play through, do all the puzzles, do all that, and then add in this extra layer of ambience since I'm not talking, so that you have a little bit more of an immersive experience with the game, and hopefully enjoy it. And I hope really, there's two things I wanted to get out of this. One is I hope that you watched and enjoyed the process, but two, I hope you also decided to say, you know what, I don't want to watch this. I want to go play the game myself. I want to go get it off of GOG or wherever else and have it so that I can play the game and not be spoiled by what you're doing. I want to go experience it myself. And that's kind of like, it's a catch-22 in the way of presenting content. It's one of the reasons I don't like doing these types of games. Early on I did The Bridge, which was not a Jonathan Blow game, but it was a puzzle type game along the same ideas, and I had full commentary, and I learned early on that those types of videos they aren't great, because if you're watching the video to watch me play a game, that's fine. If you're watching to get anything out of the game, those types of videos aren't. Now, if you're stuck on a spot in the game, like Witness, and you can't figure out a puzzle and you want to go back and watch one of my videos, that's perfectly acceptable idea to use to get past, hey, I've shown you how to do this. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to make a big, hey, here's how you do these type of puzzles and go over here and do all this and there you go. I'm not going to do that. I wanted to just say, you know what? Watch the video, enjoy, and then go back and figure out the thing that you couldn't figure out in your game. And probably Myst, I won't do that because Myst is such an old game. I want to treat that as say, hey, I'm an old fart. I love these old style games when I was a kid growing up, and here's a cool game called Myst that was about the same thing like The Witness was, except it had a better story to it about a family in struggle, and there's a whole series of those. So I think I might do it that way. But that's basically what I've got for you as far as The Witness goes. I enjoyed it. If you want to go on a scale of 1 to 10. And 10 being the greatest, I would give it about a 7. There's a couple of puzzles that I thought were way too hard to have figured out without being prompted. There was a lot of things you could miss unless you totally, really, really explore the game, and I don't think you know that that's the type of game you're playing. You may find that out later on. I'm typically one of those people that like to not progress the main story as I go wander around the edges of the map trying to fill stuff in and hope that I don't trigger something that starts the main quest. I like to go explore and get 100% completion kind of thing. And I don't think that this kind of game presents itself in a way that you know that going into it. You may find out later on, and you may have to go back and find other stuff, and it's sort of hard to downshift back to a certain area to go look for things. And not only that, but is there an exact ordered list of how you're supposed to do that. Do you do just the main puzzles, finish the game, go back and do the ordered or the environmental puzzles, go back and do the audio logs, go back and do the theater like I did? Because there's a lot of things I could have spoiled myself for later parts if I would have went off the path and tried to do something. And I was trying to stick to a sort of a linear movement through the game itself. So again, that's why I'm taking points off for that, because I don't know if it really presented itself in a way that allowed for that type of exploration without being spoiled. And as far as the message itself, it's a bit heady, it's a bit cerebral in terms of how it presents to the user, of saying, what do you accept as being reality? What do you accept as, why do we do things we do? Why do we look for shapes and puzzles in everyday life and that type of thing? So that maybe, a tenth or half of a point for that particular issue. But other than that, I totally enjoyed it, and I highly suggest getting it. It's one of those games that it's pure art. You'll come back and play it maybe 3 years down the road. It's something to always keep in your bag of tricks for, I really need something to get my brain going. Let's go back and play The Witness. It's pretty. The graphics are spot on, and I think it sort of invites you into this extra world where you want to go over the hill and see what's beyond that, even though it's off the map. And those are the types of things that really get me going. It's like I like it. I want to go see. I want to go see how do I see the mythical office building in the sky? Where's it at? I gotta find it. I gotta look behind that. Maybe that's there behind that cloud because of the way it's shaped, but possibly that cloud is shaped like that because it's part of a puzzle. So there you go. That's basically my video on a roundup of all my thoughts and feelings about The Witness. I know it's scattered. I know it doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense. My brain is in 1,000 different places with things, and I'm trying to get that all out of my brain so I can get rid of this game for a while and go on to other things. And I wanted to share that with you. So there you go. Tell me what you think down in the comments. Go get the game. Go play it. Have fun. Go back and watch videos, and enjoy and have a great day. We'll talk to you later. Bye bye.